Hello brew tubers and happy Homebrew Wednesday. You joined me for my first video of 2022. I've not made a video in a long while. To be honest, there hasn't been much going on other than a thing called Christmas and New Year. I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. Mine was very quiet. Had some family over on New Year's, which was nice, and we sort of celebrated it down here. A very sensible drinking session. I think there's about 4 pina coladas consumed, and I think about a pint of beer. So fairly sensible, to be honest. Stayed out until about 1 in the morning, I suppose, and very nice New Year's. In terms of brewing, there might be an exciting announcement coming up, but I am going to make sure it's all signed away and everything's confirmed before I announce what it is. So that's all quite exciting. But yes, other than that, brewing itself has been very quiet since December. I don't believe I've brewed anything. The Christmas ale, which I'll look at in a bit, I didn't manage to sell because it wasn't ready in time for Christmas, so I might bottle that and keep that for next year potentially. So yes, I thought in this video, as well as just a little catch up to say I haven't been doing much, I would go over some beer reviews, because I often do the brewing videos but fairly often don't follow it up with a drinking video of said beer, so I thought today I would amend that by having 2 beers. So the first beer is my best bitter recipe, which, if memory serves me, is about 4.5% thereabouts. I don't actually remember because I didn't bother to look it up before I started the video. Anyway, it's been conditioning for a while now. I've cask conditioned it in a keg, so I've used a sugar solution to carbonate it inside a keg, and used a floating dip tube, so I draw from the top of the keg rather than the bottom, so shouldn't get any sediment. So here it is in a jug, because it's down in the brew shed at the moment. I can see very good carbonation levels actually. I'll need to get some of this bottled if it's good. This is the second version of the recipe I've done. It is a bit on the gassy side, isn't it? The first one tasted a bit yeasty, so hopefully this one is a bit better. I think this is using some homegrown Fuggle hops in it as well. I'm sure there's Marisota in there. Probably a bit of crystal malt. I can't remember what the recipe is. Watch the video. You know, I put the videos up, you go watch it. Good bit of head as well. I think there's torrefied wheat and a touch of black malt, if my memory serves. Certainly looks like a best bitter. It's got that lovely sort of ambery glow. You can probably just about see. It looks a bit reddish on camera, but it's more of a amber. Nice thick head which is lingering. Very tight bubbles. Bubbies. And I'm delaying as much as I can because of the foam. Oh fuck it, let's dive in. Right, cheers. Here's to a prosperous 2022. It says near the end of January. A little bit on the cold side. The ice machine's going to make a noise. It's good. I think it's still a little bit on the sweet side. If I remember rightly, that was another fault I found with the previous batch. It was a bit sweet and yeasty. Could do with more bitterness. And I think this is certainly not yeasty, but it is still quite sweet, even though I did up the hop additions, I think. It's very smooth and perfectly acceptable. Could be a bit warmer as well, to be honest. But yeah, there's a sweet maltiness to it, like a sort of caramel, toffee sort of flavour. There is a bitter edge to it, like a slightly earthy, spicy and slightly floral bitterness. Carbonation levels is good. I mean, you can't really see it unless you swirl it around a bit, but there's sort of the micro bubbles in there. Not sure if it's good enough to sell. It's still not quite right on my palate. But it's a lot closer than the previous batch. It's got just a little bit too much sweetness to it. I might try. Excuse me. Hello. Apologies for the interruption. It was a phone call. Anyway, topped up because it is actually quite good. Oh dear. What we call a Belgian dip. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. The clarity and the colour and the head retention are perfect. And it's just a little bit on the sweet side. So, yes, I'll amend the recipe again, increase the IBUs, and perhaps mash in at a slightly lower temperature. That might be a good idea. But, yeah, all in all, it does taste like a bitter, but it's just a very sweet bitter, but not as sweet as the previous version. It's a perfectly acceptable beverage. It just needs a little bit more work. So I'll keep hold of this version, and then I'll probably do a version 3. I mean, I think this one used Fuggles from the garden, and I might just use purchased East Kent Goldings because they're much more reliable, I think. Yeah. Food for thought. Anyway, that's the best bitter. Right then, on to the second beer, which is the Christmas style Belgiany beer. Red X malt, Saaz hops, and a Belgiany strain. Not a huge amount of carbonation in there, which I'm surprised about, to be honest. I was expecting more, but you know, it's still quite good. There is a little bit in there. I will up the pressure in the keg just to get some more CO2 in there, some more bubbles for next Christmas when I eventually sell it. I'd say too late sell it for Christmas 2021 now, isn't it? So yes, I'll get that bottled up for 22, and yes, I think it'll be quite nice actually. You know, a year of aging on a Belgian beer is no bad thing, so yeah, I reckon that'd be quite nice. So as I said, Red X malt, Saaz, and Belgian yeast strain. Does taste like a Belgian beer. It's got that sort of sweet caramel malty flavour, and then it's got those nice sort of yeasty esters, so it's got a little bit of that sort of like banana, candy banana, foam banana flavour, a hint of peppery, clovey spiciness, but it's mostly on the sweeter side. No, it's a nice beer. Yes, I'm happy with that recipe actually. I think the yeast was a little bit old as well. I mean, it's obviously fermented it, but I don't know whether the age of a yeast impacts the ester flavours you get from it. That's an interesting question because obviously I know temperature plays a lot. Obviously, the higher the temperature, the more it makes to a certain extent. But yeah, I mean, it's nice enough. It's red and Belgiany, and you know, it looks like a good Christmas beer, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm happy with that, but I should have brewed it about 6 months ago. Never mind. It is what it is. So yes, that's about it for me. To be honest, I haven't had a lot of beer recently. We had 2 barrels of beer from Rebellion Brewery over Christmas. The Winter Royal, which is an old Weatherards recipe. Beautiful beer, sort of like plummy fruitcake flavours, proper like winter red ale, you know, English style beer. And we had their pale beer, which had a bit of apricot flavour. I thought very pale and crisp, quite tasty. So they do these things called keggies, which are sort of like kegs, like a black box sort of shape with a tap on top, and they last 3 weeks. Hold 22 pints, and they're bloody good, to be honest. Because I find with like the 5 litre tins, you know, the 9-pint tins, it's a struggle to drink all of that. But by the time it goes off, which is about 5 days thereabouts, isn't it? 3, 4, 5 days. Whereas these keggy things, the beer, you know, tastes bloody good, and it's 3 weeks, you know, which is easy to, you know, 22 pints in 3 weeks is no problem at all. So, yeah, they're good little systems. So yeah, we had 2 of those over Christmas, and my dad and I went through it, and a few family members as well, and a friend. But then, yeah, since New Year's, to be honest, I've not had a huge amount of beer. Sort of like my own stuff, I've not had since early December, I don't think. Had a case come through from Beer 52 early January, which I finished in about a week. It's one of those things I ought to probably cancel it, but I don't buy hoppy beers very often, like, you know, Neepers and Deepers and Treepers and whatever it is. I don't buy them very often, so the fact that that comes every 2 months or so, it's sort of a nice little treat, really. So I thought, well, I'll keep hold of it, the subscription. But yes, other than that, as I said, I haven't done any brewing really in the last couple of weeks, and I will also get back to it. Just waiting for a few things to fall into place first before I do any more sort of brewing. And yes, I might have an exciting announcement soon. We'll see what that is once I've had all the details confirmed. But yes, other than that, I'm going to finish my pipe, finish my beer, and watch Shirley Bassey at the BBC on the little Clubhouse TV. Yes, we've got a tiny little television in here, only a small thing on the bar top, and yes, so I'll put that behind the seat when it's not in use. But to be honest, I've not been in the clubhouse for about 6 months. Well, that's an exaggeration. But since September, certainly, September, October, I've not really been down here at all. Just like the odd once, perhaps, or twice. We were here down here on New Year's, which was quite fun. Had a couple of pina coladas. But yes, no, it's been a bit sparse, the attendance down here, which is a shame really. But I think it's because it's damp and cold, and you've got the fact you've got to trudge down the garden, which isn't particularly far, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? You can sit in front of the fire in the lounge with a nice hot cup of tea, or you can go outside in the cold and then get rat-arsed, which I'm doing tonight because I fancy it. I've got a bottle of Saint-Germain, or St. Germain's elderflower liqueur, and I've got a few cocktail recipes I want to try with it. I've got that bottle for Christmas, so yeah, anyway. I want to get on with my evening, so bugger off.